My name is Julianne Calco, and I teach digital information technology here at Timber Creek High School. This is my third year at Timber Creek. Little known fact, I actually graduated here from Timber Creek in 2008, and I love that I'm back here full circle. I think it's pretty awesome. I also played girls volleyball, when I was here, and now I am the girls varsity volleyball coach, so even more further circle. And I absolutely love being here. But I really appreciate you guys taking the opportunity to be here tonight. Got a couple things set up for you just so that way walk you through, kind of see some different things, see what we're about in this class, primarily looking through our Canvas page, and give a little bit of discussion about that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and help us navigate here. Anytime that students go and they click on my Canvas page, I always tell them to navigate through the modules here. As you can see, I create modules for every single week. We have a module here at the top for the open house and all of that information. But for students, you can see it says week of October 11th through the 15th, and it then displays any work that they have for that week. And I also do this little page called a week in review, so where students can go ahead and click on that. It's going to break down for them what we're doing every single day in class. Very plain, very simple. But I know with COVID and kids being quarantined, oftentimes if they're missing class, they don't know what we've done. And because this is a technology class and they all have their school issued laptops, they are able to do some of this work through our Canvas page. So that way they're not really missing out on too much. So I do that every single week. And this will change sometimes daily, just depending on maybe something happened different that day, maybe the internet was down, whatever it may be, but I do update it pretty regularly, okay? Going into like our open house information, so you can see here I've got the syllabus listed. If you feel like reading that, be my guest. We're not going to go through that today. We'll kind of go over some stuff that's related in the syllabus, but we're not going to go over it verbatim. I also have listed here my contact information. It's got my name, my room number, my extension if needed, my email address. Just kind of gives you an overview of my credentials being here. Credentials, I don't know what I do. My job titles. There we go. It's been a long day. But then also you can see I have different things that you can sign up for Remind through here. I typically use Remind if I need to reach out to everybody, or I utilize Remind if I've just been trying to reach out to the student through Canvas email, they're not responding. I have to try and find another way outside of, begging them in class to do their work. So I'm going to go ahead and click back here on modules. And I also have a Google contact form listed here. I had students fill this out like the first 2 weeks of school. If you know that your student filled it out, awesome. If they didn't, or even if they did and you're not quite sure, you're more than welcome to fill it out again. It just asks for name, information, mainly just because we know that not everything is up to date in Skyward. So just in case if I needed to reach out to a family member through there. And then last but not least, we're going to click on Virtual Open House. And there is a link here that will bring you to like a live Q&A that I'm doing from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. On Thursday. And if you have any questions about it, or you just want to pop in and say hello, you've got concerns, whatever it may be, go ahead and stop by. I'd love to meet people, talk to you guys, whatever is needed. I have all that information listed there. This is just a PowerPoint that I've embedded into our Canvas page, just kind of giving us a little bit more of like a rundown of like our class, maybe a little bit procedure-like. And I'm going to go ahead and take us through that now. So DIT is a part of our business management program. You need 3 courses to end up meeting the business management program requirements. And what ends up happening, you get DIT is like your first one to be able to take. You can't take the other classes without it. You then have business entrepreneurship, and you also have accounting. By doing all 3 of these classes and passing them, and you don't necessarily have to pass the certification exam for them, just passing the classes through Timber Creek, you end up getting a cord and a sash for your graduation. So I know that's something that a lot of our students love, that type of recognition when it comes to graduating. Our daily class routines. So when students come into my class, and just to give you a general idea, I have a computer lab, and there are about 50 desktop computers that are sitting right on the other side here. Students come in, they read the smartboard. The smartboard has everything listed for what we're doing during that day. because of the pandemic and students and just being displaced and now getting back into it, I understand they don't always feel as comfortable and they're glued to their phones, and I do understand that. Typically, the first 5 to 10 minutes of class, I let them have some downtime. You come in, you get settled in, and it's daily routine. Log into your laptop or the desktop computer, check your emails, check Canvas, check Remind, see if anybody sent anything important in the last 24 hours from the last time that I saw them. Then I take attendance, and once that 5 to 10 minutes, whatever it is that I give them is up, I ask them for phones and headphones to get put away. We talk about the day, we talk about the lesson, and then they kind of like go into whatever work is necessary for that day. Which then brings me to classwork and homework. And this is where I've kind of seen a decline in grades. The phones are a pretty big issue right now. Trying to do the best I can. I got a lot of kids in a class period, so just, making sure phones get put away. If you could help me help them, that would be so awesome. But classwork during the day, we rarely have homework for DIT. I give them more than enough class time to be able to work on it, and it's not just, okay, we have an assignment that we start today, okay, it's due by the end of the class period. It's, we have an assignment today, it's due a week from now, and you'll have more than one day in class to work on it. I also tend to do things like catch-up days. Students have been feeling incredibly overwhelmed with their course load, not for this class particularly, but maybe for other classes. I try to provide at least one day a week where they get like 30-35 minutes to where take the day to catch up on your work. Do whatever you need to do, just kind of settle in. We try to be productive in a setting to say, hey, can you work for 10 minutes, break for 5? Can you work for 10 minutes, can you break for 5? Whatever it may be, because we do try often to tell them, at least for my class, a little bit of productivity can go such a long way. So we're really trying the best we can to get them back to being accountable, having good time management, having good organization skills. But like I said, I would rarely find it that we have any type of homework in this class unless students just physically aren't doing it while they're here. And I do often tell them, if you're not doing it here, you have to do it at home. If you're not doing it at home, you got to try and do it here. Talking about our grades. So I give something a hard due date. So if they had a worksheet that we started on Monday, I will say it's due by the end of the week. And that is when you should turn it into Canvas, because we've had more than one day in class to work on it. If you didn't start it, you could have taken it home for homework. And then when they go and they turn it in, I give a 2-week grace period after that to be able to get full credit on that assignment. Once that 2-week grace period is up, they can still submit until the end of the 9 weeks, but the highest possible grade they can get is an 80% on it. So that's essentially where my grading starts from. I give all my feedback on Canvas, so that way if I give you some sort of correction, I tell them you can make the correction necessary, resubmit your document, you can get the points awarded if that's something you're looking for. It was really tough the last 9 weeks just with students not taking advantage of this. So I'm trying to go for it, the second 9 weeks, going into it again to see if we can get some of our students that are a little bit further behind. Can they take advantage of being able to submit things all the way through? And at least getting some credit for things rather than no credit at all. But I would say the majority of the students did a pretty decent job at this, so that was really awesome. Talking about our CompTIA IT Fundamental Certification Exam. This is something that's additional that students can earn credit towards outside of just passing this class. What ends up happening is it first round of certification testing takes place on February, not on February 2nd, in February. And this is our first round of testing. Typically, when we do our practice tests, students need an 80% or better on the practice test in order to even test in the first place. If they happen to test the first time and not do well, they get 2 additional attempts, which is really awesome that they get that opportunity. Second round of testing would take place in March for those students that were unsuccessful in passing the first time, but also maybe for now, first time students testing all over, or just in a scenario if a student missed that testing day, then we try and do the best we can. If they fail the test the first time, they take 20 calendar days till they can take it again. This typically leads us all the way into about April or May. It's a 75 multiple choice test, scenario-based questions pulled from a 500 question bank. It's pretty difficult, but for good reason. It carries a lot of weight, a lot of credential, being able to pass it and hold on to that certification. They get 60 minutes to answer all 75 questions. I do the best I can when we create our quizzes in class to increase the the amount of questions, so that way students are getting a feel for what it's like to answer that amount of questions in a short amount of time. Because to answer 75 in 60 minutes, you're taking a couple seconds per question and moving right on. So I know that can be tough. And like I said, they need an 80% or better on the practice test, which also count as a grade for this course. So yeah, last year was a bit difficult, obviously with COVID, getting students to take the practice test, but I'm a firm believer. They're doing a great job right now so far. We haven't taken a practice test yet. We still got some time for it, but they're doing a really great job with the material right now. We also have a common final exam for this class, our CFE. It's about 20% of the student's final grade. You've got business-related questions, basic technology questions, things based on how would you act in an interview, Word, spreadsheet, presentation questions. Students will get a study guide for this to be able to prepare for. It's pretty basic, it's pretty standard, kind of covers everything that we'll go over during this year, but nothing for students to really stress about. But this will take place in May as well. Okay, and that kind of brings us to the end of that slideshow. If you guys have any questions or concerns, or based on something through here, I tried to stay as quick and painless as possible. But if you guys need anything at all, just let me know. Grades, I do update from Canvas and to Skyward. I integrate the two, I sync them over. So whatever you see in Canvas is what you'll see in Skyward. I know sometimes parents don't have access to Skyward or don't have access to Canvas. The biggest thing that I would say is use your students' login, see for yourself what their stuff actually says and what's on there. And if you ever have any questions like technology wise, don't be afraid to reach out. Teaching a technology class, even right now with the students and getting them more comfortable, they love to use their cell phones, but this massive computer in front of them intimidates them, and they're not quite sure what to do. So the main basis of this class is to make them feel comfortable, and I tell them that all the time, that if at the end of this class you could feel just a little bit more comfortable utilizing the technology that we have, because it's not going anywhere, the better off you'll be. We're working on troubleshooting right now. Oftentimes people think troubleshooting is like ripping open a computer, when right now all we're just discussing in troubleshooting is something plugged in correctly? Is it turned on correctly? All of these basic things that people often forget about are things that you can fix and have control over without having to worry about all the big stuff. So I appreciate you guys taking the time. Like I said, if you feel as if you want to come and pop into the live question and answer, go ahead on Thursday, October 14th from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. But I thank you guys so incredibly much. Love being here at Timber Creek. Love our families. Love our support. And if you guys need anything from me, you know where to find me. All right? Take care. Have a great day. Bye.